It's the 77 WABC News Hour.
Talking the news with Noam Laden.
All the news you need to know with Joe Nolan, traffic, Justin Ellick, sports. And now,
Talking the news with Noam
on 77 WABC.
Yep, that's me, 5 o'clock. Good morning. It is Tuesday, October 28th. Your forecast from the 77 WABC Weather Center. Mix of sun and clouds today, high 55. Tonight and overnight, cloudy, low 46. And then Wednesday, clouds, high 56. If you are walking out the door with us right now, it's 37 and clear in New City up in Rockland County, 36 and clear in Millburn over in New Jersey, and it's 41 and clear right outside our Midtown studios.
This is the Top 5 at 5.
Melissa's making a mess of Jamaica. Is Andrew Cuomo making a last-minute comeback? Local food pantries getting prepared for a huge influx of new families. Game 3 of the World Series just ended a short time ago. What's the connection between a spike in zombies and the state of New Jersey? All right, let's get into it at 5:01. Hurricane Melissa making landfall in Jamaica. Historic Category 5 storm with winds of more than 170 miles per hour. Jamaica's been bracing for what the National Hurricane Center would be catastrophic flash flooding, landslides caused by up to 40 inches of rain in some places. Now, I've been up since, 2 o'clock or so this morning, watching some of the live streaming that's going on from people who are on TikTok, who are showing what's going on in their neighborhoods in Jamaica. And the rain is coming down fast and furious. It's awfully windy, and it's just the beginning of the storm. Yesterday, local lawmakers in Jamaica were warning people, this is the real deal. Make sure you have a safe place to go.
There is going to be massive flooding as a result of the surf that is going to require persons to relocate from their existing locations.
She's a monster coming, so we have to ensure that we protect life. And while we will be able to build back homes, we will not be able to get back life.
Yeah, they're already talking about the fact that homes will be destroyed, widespread damage to property, infrastructure is expected. The storm will also hit Cuba, bring severe weather to other parts of the Caribbean, including the Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos Islands. Melissa is now the most powerful storm of the 2025 Atlantic hurricane season. Could be the strongest storm to ever hit Jamaica. And you'll remember all those years ago, Hurricane Gilbert back in 1988, it really devastated the island. Was watching this last night, this family from Long Island. They own a resort in Jamaica, and they were preparing for Melissa, to hit the island. They were talking to WABC TV about this family-owned beach resort in Negril. And they have 30 stranded hotel guests and staff there who they were unable to get out. And so now they're just hoping for the best.
We have sandbags here. We're going to probably put a few more there. Eerie feeling that this is going to change Jamaica forever. We don't know how long the power is going to be out. Because the power's going to go out. There's no question about that. We don't know if we're going to have water. We don't know what the roads are going to be like.
Yeah, so there's only so many places you can go that are safe, and a lot of these houses are wooden, so there's fears about that as well.
I feel like, this is a real situation that I'm about to be experiencing, and I don't want to do it without some support. So here I am.
Once landfall is made, everybody is going to stay exactly where they are. I'm expecting this to be an extremely violent experience. I am scared. I'm scared for Jamaica.
Yeah, and back here in the U.S., Jamaicans with loved ones back in Jamaica, scared for their lives as well. They started collecting relief supplies because they know it's going to be needed. Food, canned food, water, batteries, generators, all set to be flown to Jamaica when Melissa moves out.
We're sending 2 cargo planes and about 100 containers that are going down on Tuesday tomorrow, so they should be there by Wednesday after the hurricane makes landfall.
Yeah, so they collected a ton of stuff already because they've been through this drill before.
And food, as long as it has a longer shelf life, dried fruit, cereal, ramen, meals ready to eat, cases of water, generators, chainsaws, trampolines, wheelbarrows.
Yeah, so just from Florida alone yesterday, these 2 cargo planes, they were filled, 100 containers. Here in New York, same sort of thing.
First phase is going out Tuesday, and then after that, we're going to do reconnaissance and see what the damage is, and then send more stuff in the coming weeks.
Yeah, so we'll continue to watch Melissa here. As I said, TikTok's been an amazing source of news. If you see people with live streaming now, as long as they're able to live stream. Initially, it's bad, but it doesn't look terrible, but it's just the beginning of this all. Set to really hit the eye of the storm in the next couple hours. Of course, keep it here, 77 WABC, for the latest on the Melissa. And let me point out, it's not expected to hit the mainland of U.S., though we'll fear the impacts of it, I imagine, in the coming days. 5:05. So when I came in this morning, there was still a baseball game going on. The World Series, Game 3, Dodgers and the Blue Jays. Dodgers ended up winning this thing 6-5, 18 innings. And when the game was over, when you heard the players in the locker room, this was at about 3:30 this morning, so not that long ago. A lot of them were just, kind of happy it was over. Of course, if you were a Dodger fan or a Dodger player, you were pretty excited that you ended up winning this thing.
I don't think we're physically tired. I think you're just mentally tired because you're in it every pitch, and every pitch means something in the World Series and in the playoffs. So I think we're all emotionally and mentally drained.
Yeah, and they have to play again tonight. Dodger manager Dave Roberts, he called this one of the best games in history.
Yeah, it's one of the greatest World Series games of all time. Emotional. I'm spent emotionally. We got a ball game later tonight, which is crazy.
Yeah, and Dodger shortstop Mookie Betts says it took the entire team to win this game.
A game like tonight is a team effort, and you don't win World Series or win games really with one person. It's going to take everybody. This was a prime example.
Yeah, so can you imagine sitting through this thing? Now, if you were at Dodger Stadium, those tickets are not cheap. The cheapest ticket yesterday was about $1,000. 6 hours and 39 minutes. I don't know. That's a long time. So fans who are walking out saying it was entertaining, and they say, too, it was exhausting just to watch this thing. The Dodgers ended up taking a 2-1 lead in the Fall Classic. And again, game ending 2:52 East Coast time this morning. Of course, Justin will have more coming up on that, coming up in sports at 5:15. WABC News Time 5:08. Up to Harlem, where cops investigating after a woman found dead inside a plastic bag. East Harlem yesterday. MTA contacting the NYPD after the woman was found on a sidewalk. This was East 124th Street and Park Avenue about 6:30 last night. EMS responded, pronounced the unidentified woman, unknown age, dead at the scene. It's unclear if the victim suffered any trauma to her body. The medical examiner's office is going to determine her cause and manner of death. The NYPD needs a little help to catch a robbery crew that's been targeting women.
The department releasing photos of 3 people on 2 scooters they say are connected to the robberies, which happened over 2 days this month. The crew finds women walking along the street, speed up to them on a scooter, e-bike, or similar, and grab chains off their necks, then speed off. None of the women, 2 in Greenpoint, Brooklyn, the other in Sunnyside, Queens, were hurt. Their 3 known attacks all happened on October 10th and 11th. Andrew Whitman, NBC News Radio, New York.
WABC News Time 5:09. Food pantries preparing for the coming crisis. If SNAP benefits run out on Saturday for 3 million people across the tri-state, that's, of course, connected to the government shutdown. One of the places that helps feed people 24/7, 365 days a year is the Masbia Soup Kitchen, which is in Borough Park. The flow of clients there, it never stops. But now they're worried they're going to see even more families who rely on these SNAP benefits to go grocery shopping coming in because they no longer have that money coming in. Here's people at Masbia yesterday.
You know how they say certain things are a luxury? Food is not a luxury.
Masbia is in Hebrew to satiate, to satisfy. We want to satiate every living creature. That means that so many people who get their help just by going to their own grocery will now only rely on emergency food providers like us.
Yeah, here's the thought is 42 million Americans rely on some sort of food assistance. Again, if the shutdown continues, those payments could now end. Now, Congress has set aside billions in contingency funds to be used in the event of a shutdown. It's not clear that that's going to happen, but must be getting ready because they say they're already seeing more families come in.
If people don't have food, it becomes really sad. I mean, It's just reality.
Yeah, and there's no sign, by the way, of the shutdown ending anytime soon. 511, out on the campaign trail for Mayor Andrew Cuomo, has cut Democrat nominee Zohran Mamdani's lead in half now to 10 points. This according to a Suffolk University Boston poll that came out yesterday. Now, a similar poll by the same organization in September had Mamdani ahead of Cuomo by 20 points. The new poll was conducted after Mayor Adams exited the race. So everybody on the Cuomo camp is excited, and they're wondering if somehow they can catch up to Zohran Mamdani before Election Day, which is 7 days from today. And what we're looking when we see the numbers of early voting, and about 60,000 more people voted yesterday during early voting, which is a pretty healthy number. Not as big as the weekend, but still pretty good for a Monday. The large number of them are voters age 55 and older. That makes more than half of the turnout so far, which is a dramatic shift from the primary when voters age 25 to 34 dominated. So the thought is Andrew Cuomo is getting a lot of those votes. And Zohran Mamdani's campaign would not tend to argue with that. They said they're getting some of those votes, but that's not a good sign. Here was Mamdani yesterday.
Affordability is something that is robbing them of the ability to grow old in this city. That's the beauty of the general election, is you learn that caring about the affordability crisis, looking to actually make life that little bit easier for New Yorkers.
And then former Governor Andrew Cuomo says he's feeling the energy now in this last week of the campaign, and he feels like that energy is coming for him.
I feel it. I feel it on the street. In the primary, the turnout was totally different than they thought. Much younger, and the younger vote was a much higher percentage.
Yeah, so now on the Upper East Side of Manhattan, 77 WABC owner and operator John Catsimatidis, joined by former Governor David Paterson yesterday as they hashed out this race for mayor.
John stopping and addressing a group of reporters who had gathered before the media and supermarket mogul could have his voice be heard in the race.
I'm here to vote, and I'm here to vote for Andrew Cuomo. Liberal, yes. Socialism, forget about it. No.
Former New York Governor David Paterson, himself a Democrat, explained why he rejects socialism, but he stopped short of offering an endorsement for Cuomo.
He and I will get together on that in the next couple of days. My gut feeling is voting for Cuomo.
James Flippin for 77 WABC News.
Okay, so here's the stats we have so far. It has been a very robust and healthy early voting season so far. Nearly 225,000 ballots have been cast during the first 3 days of early voting in the city, with election officials and candidates noting that this is an unusually high turnout. While Monday was a bit of a drop in the numbers from over the weekend, people have to go to work, still saw 60,000 voters head to the ballot box. So that's still exceeding expectations from the last time around when it was Mayor Adams against Curtis Sliwa. The Board of Elections says the decline on Monday was expected, but they say these healthy numbers, they hope they continue. Andrew Cuomo saying that if it continues to be people 55 and over dominating, that is good news for him. We'll have more from all the candidates coming up after 5:30 and from the voters as well, who are casting some of those early ballots. In a moment, we'll go out to Asia, where President Trump continues his trip to Japan. We'll get into that in just a moment. But first, 5:15, let's head over to the 77 WABC Sports Desk. Good morning, Justin Allen.
Good morning to you, Noam Liddon. Start here on the Diamond last night. How about this blockbuster? 18 innings. This is why you don't leave a ghost runner on second base in the playoffs in the extra innings, because then you get appointment television like this. Obviously, we didn't see any of it. No, Martin, you weren't up watching this 18
I saw the
inning,
end of it.
Did you really?
Yeah, I was here.
Oh, you were here. You're right about that.
Yeah, we were all gathered around the TV.
How about that? Yeah, what an ending. Freddie Freeman there, obviously with the walk-off. Very reminiscent. Us Yankees fans here in New York City know what Freddie Freeman walk-off in the World Series looks like. So, the Dodgers there, 6-5 over the Blue Jays last night. They take a 2-1 series lead in Game 3, Ohtani had a big day as well. A couple of doubles out of him. He had, 2 home runs as well. There you go. So, 2 home runs for him. Yeah, 8th inning or 3rd inning off of Scherzer, and then the 7th inning off of Dominguez. How about that? A huge game out of him. Gets overshadowed by this Freddie Freeman walk-off. So you get Game 4 tonight, 8 p.m. from Los Angeles. We'll check in on that again tomorrow morning. We'll head to the gridiron here. Monday Night Football wrapping out Week 8 action.
Can you imagine?
I'm
sorry, but can you imagine playing for 6 hours and 39 minutes, and then I know they get paid a lot, but then having to return tonight to play again?
It's the World Series, baby. This is it. You got a couple more games to play. You leave it all out there.
Right.
And hopefully it's all worth it in the end. But, yeah, if you're the Dodgers and you end up winning this series, I mean, come on, do you think you're looking back on it thinking, I think I was a little bit too tired going into the game?
Yeah.
No, they'll be all right.
Yeah, they have a Red Bull. They'll be okay.
Of course. A couple of these older, guys like Freeman hurt the most. These are veteran guys who've been in the league for a while. It takes them a little bit longer to get ramped up. He's obviously not the most agile of guys. So it's, older veterans like that who are a little bit more beaten up going into this Game 4 tonight. But that'll make it even more exciting. Blue Jays are a younger lineup. We'll see how they hold up. Springer left the game last night, so we'll see how he's feeling. But, definitely looking forward to Game 4 tonight. Out in Kansas City, Chiefs beat up on the Commanders. We all thought this would happen. 28-7 is your final there. Chiefs leave KC 5-3. Commanders there exit 3-5. They're, of course, without Jaden Daniels again, their star quarterback. To the NBA in Houston, the Nets dropped to 0-4 with a 137-109 loss to the Rockets. Terrence Mann scored 21 points. Michael Porter Jr. had 18 for the Nets. Up next for them, they'll welcome in the Atlanta Hawks tomorrow night. Still looking for their first win of the season. Tonight, the Knicks back in action out in Milwaukee against the Bucks. That's an 8 p.m. tip-off there. And a triple-header on the ice to look forward to tonight as well. 7:15 p.m. The Islanders are in Boston against the Bruins. The Devils are out in Colorado against the Avalanche at 9 p.m. And much later on, 10 p.m. puck drop, the Rangers out in Vancouver against the Canucks. That is your Sports Gnome, and I'm Justin Ellick on 77 WABC.
WABC News Time 5:19. Let's go overseas. President Trump's nearly week-long visit to Asia continues today. It's about, it's 5:19 here, so it's 6:19 in the evening in Japan. Earlier today, he delivered remarks to American troops aboard the USS George Washington aircraft carrier, which is in Japan.
The cherished alliance between the United States and Japan is one of the most remarkable relationships in the entire world. Really, there's never been anything like it. Born out of the ashes of a terrible war, our bond has grown over 8 decades into the beautiful friendship that we have. It's a foundation of peace and security in the Pacific. You see it? And unlike past administrations, we will not be politically correct. You don't mind that, do you? When it comes to defending the United States, we're no longer politically correct. We're going to defend our country any way we have to.
Then the president praising Japan following a meeting with the country's first female prime minister.
Anytime you have any question, any doubt, anything you want, any favors you need, anything I can do to help Japan, we will be there. We are an ally at the strongest level.
Now, the two leaders did not have one of those formal press conferences post-meeting, but each had their own remarks afterwards. It's the latest stop for this multi-day trip to Asia that includes the high-stakes sit-down that'll happen with Chinese President Xi Jinping. That's going to happen in South Korea come Thursday.
This will be a relationship that will be stronger than ever before, and I look forward to working with you.
He's talking about the relationship with Japan.
I know that you are increasing your military capacity very substantially, and we've received your orders for a very large amount of new military equipment, and you know that we make the best military equipment.
And there were some surprises yesterday. The president saying he is open to meeting with North Korea's leader during this current Asian trip. Correspondent Mitch McCann has more.
Aboard Air Force One en route to Japan on Monday, President Trump was asked if he would delay his return home to meet with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. Mr. Trump replied, "It's our last stop, so it would be pretty easy to do," adding, "If he'd like to meet, I'm around. I'll be in in South Korea, so I could be right over there.
The president met with Kim Jong-un 3 times during his first term in office.
Mr. Trump raised eyebrows when the two last met in 2019 at the demilitarized zone between North and South Korea, where he briefly crossed the border into North Korea, becoming the first sitting U.S. president to do so. The president was also asked what the U.S. could offer North Korea during any future meeting. He said, well, we have sanctions. That's pretty big to start off with. I would say that's about as big as you get.
And, of course, the press has a lot of time with the president when he's on Air Force One. He makes himself pretty available. And so you get these interesting sideline stories that have nothing to do with his trip to Asia. But yesterday he was talking to the press about how he would not rule out the possibility of running for a third term in 2028. But he did dismiss the idea of running as a candidate for vice president, which was one idea, that he'd run as vice president.
No, you'd be allowed to do that, but I wouldn't. I think it's too cute. Yeah, I would rule that out because it's too cute. I think the people wouldn't like that. It's too cute. It's not. It wouldn't be right.
The idea is I guess they would switch places. The president specifically mentioned Vice President J.D. Vance, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, when referencing who are very good potential Republican candidates for president in 2028.
Well, I haven't really thought about it. We have some very good people, as you know. But I have the best poll numbers I've ever had. Well, we have great people. I don't have to get into that, but we have one of them standing right here. We have J.D., obviously. The vice president is great. I think Marco's great. I think I'm not sure if anybody would run against us.
The 22nd Amendment forbids a president from being elected to a position more than 2 times. 523. Well, we're talking about 2028. I mean, it is only 2025. But a new poll shows a Republican leading all other candidates for governor in solidly blue California. Okay, this is more of a local race.
Emerson College surveyed voters about their choice in 2026, and GOP candidate Steve Hilton received 16% support, 1 point ahead of Democrat Katie Porter. Republican Chad Bianco is third in the survey with 11%, while Democrats Javier Becerra and Antonio Villaraigosa each have 5%. 39% of voters are undecided. I'm Phil Hewlett.
Yeah, the shock of that one, of course, is Hilton, who is leading the polls, is a Republican in a very blue state. 524. Today, day 29 of the federal government shutdown. 28, 29? Either way, it's been a long time. Correspondent Haley Jackson reports that the nation's food banks are feeling the pressure.
Organizers preparing for an influx since federal SNAP benefits will dry up starting Saturday, according to the Department of Agriculture, putting nearly 42 million food aid recipients at risk.
And then more than 700,000 government employees have been furloughed while essential workers continue to show up unpaid. Now, the Senate's set to return, having already failed to repeatedly pass shutdown-ending legislation. There's no sign it's going to happen anytime soon. Democrats have been demanding that Republicans address the Affordable Care Act subsidies that are set to expire at the end of the year. And they say they're not going to change their ways on this. So it's affecting everything.
After ground stops at LAX and Newark Sunday stalled passengers nationwide. Delays that may be shutdown related, with air traffic controllers set to miss their first full paycheck this week.
Yeah, some of those air traffic controllers have been calling in sick, and we've seen delays at the local airports here at Newark. It has been some 2-hour delays, a regular 2-hour delay as of, well, yesterday anyway. That's what they were saying at the airports. Whether that was 100% connected to those air traffic controllers, that's not clear, but flyers say that they've seen delays since the shutdown has begun. 526. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals has issued an administrative stay keeping National Guard troops out of Portland until this afternoon. The judges will vote on whether to have a full 11-member court hear the case. Judges have ruled differently in the Portland and Chicago cases. Rachel Van Cleese is a visiting professor at the McGeorge School of Law, and she says that could be due to bias.
The cynical answer would be democratically appointed judges versus Republican appointed judges.
Yeah, Van Cleave also says there could be a difference in situations in Portland and Chicago and how the law applies to those conditions.
Tale of two cities. They sound like very different places. while each court is applying the same law.
Of course, both those places trying to fight to keep the National Guard out. A suspect in a Seattle murder mistakenly released from a California jail.
20-year-old Isaiah Andrews is a suspect in the fatal shooting of 20-year-old Theodore Wheeler in a hotel parking lot October 15th. Andrews was arrested on October 18th after a car chase with police in California. He was booked into the Contra Costa County Jail on local charges and the warrant for the Seattle homicide. He was released from custody last week, and the sheriff's office is investigating how that was allowed. I'm Brad Ford.
It's the 77 WABC News Hour.
Talking the news with Noam Laden.
All the news you need to know with Joe Nolan, traffic, Justin Ellick, sports. And now,
Talking the news with Noam
on 77 WABC.
Yes, that's me. Good morning. It is Tuesday, October 28th. Your forecast from the 77 WABC Weather Center. Mix of sun and clouds today, high 55. Tonight and overnight, cloudy, low 46. And then Wednesday, clouds, high 56. If you are walking out the door with us right now, so happy you are. 37 and clear in New City up in Rockland County. It's 36 and clear in Millburn over in New Jersey. And it's 41 and clear right outside our Midtown studio. WABC News Time 540. Hurricane Melissa intensifying to a Category 5 as it slams into Jamaica over the coming hours, threatening to bring catastrophic flooding, landslides, widespread damage to homes and infrastructure. The storm is forecast to dump up to 30 inches or more of rain on Jamaica, along with life-threatening storm surge along its southern coast. Melissa is expected to make landfall. It actually already started, has made landfall this morning, at least the early portions of it. Been watching it this morning with people who've been live streaming on YouTube and TikTok. So far, it does not look bad, but you can just see the sheets of rain coming down, the wind. Here's a reporter who's on the scene.
These are probably some of the strongest winds yet, and definitely the heaviest rain yet that has been felt in the capital city of Kingston, Jamaica. We're in somewhat of a protected area right here, and still we're hearing things banging all around us, things moving in the wind, and the way that the infrastructure is here, it really remains to be seen how long some of these buildings can hold up to winds like this. We've been watching some of the buildings that are built here along the waterfront. Typically, this would be full of boats. All of the fishermen along this area have pulled them out. There's not a lot of places to take those boats. In some places, they're just, in fact, there's some right here. They're just sitting on the edge of the shoreline, tied up, and they're hoping that storm surge and tide and waves don't get this high.
And as of the National Hurricane Center's latest update, the hurricane had maximum sustained winds, 175 miles per hour, inching north-northeast at a slow pace. This was as of a couple hours ago, just 2 miles per hour, which suggests it would just sit over Jamaica. It's expected to be the most powerful storm ever to hit Jamaica, potentially the most powerful storm on record ever to make landfall anywhere, just to tell you how big this thing is. Yesterday, there was mandatory evacuations ordered on 7 flood-prone communities, buses carrying people to shelters. But of course, there's just a lot of fear back here in the Jamaican community. They're watching back, talking with loved ones while they can.
And we just have to pray that everyone is going to be all right and that, it won't come inland. In Kingston, there's, sturdy homes, and then there's some that are not so sturdy. So the zinc from the roof flies off. People are trying to get to different places. It can really, really be a horrific scene.
Yeah, so of course we're wishing for the best, and we'll continue to watch Melissa as it moves into Jamaica in the coming hours. 542. Race for mayor tightening as it heads into its final stretch. It's a week from today, right? Well, that's all we got. 7 more days. Early voting well underway. Much stronger turnout than it was 4 years ago. Independent candidate Andrew Cuomo has cut Democrat nominee Zohran Mamdani's lead in half to 10 points. That's according to a Suffolk University Boston poll that came out out yesterday. A similar one from the same polling organization in September had Mamdani ahead of Cuomo by 20 points. Mamdani is still the clear frontrunner, though. He leads Cuomo 44 to 34%. Republican nominee Curtis Lewa in third place with 11%. 7% in this survey are undecided. It's the first poll in months that shows the gap between Mamdani and Cuomo narrowing. And then when you look at the early voting, and this is important for the Andrew Cuomo campaign, well, I guess it's true for all three campaigns, 55% of early voters are over the age of 55, which many say is great news for Andrew Cuomo, that he does well with senior citizens. Even people in the Mamdani campaign say that is a worrisome number.
There's anger in this city. There's frustration in this city. It's all percolating. I feel very good because New Yorkers, at the end of the day, they want a mayor who can do the job.
Now the question is, can Andrew Cuomo make up 10 points in 7 days with people already voting? Zohran Mamdani doesn't think so. He says it's good that lots of people are voting early and good that senior citizens are very involved.
I think we should always celebrate when more New Yorkers are going to the polls, and I continue to be confident in our campaign as well as in our outreach to voters above the age of 55, and also I will not allow myself to become complacent.
In the first 3 days of early voting, now it's 223,000. Again, a surge of older voters. That's different than the primary back in June where young voters dominated. Former Governor David Paterson, he took part in a press conference with John Katzimatidis up on the Upper East Side yesterday. He was talking about this surge of older voters, and he thinks Cuomo may be able to pull off some sort of late-minute upset.
That is clearly advantageous to the former governor, that the senior vote, which had been dwindling, is coming back almost with logarithmic proportions. And if it stays that way, he should win by 3 to 5 points.
And Curtis Lewa, he was out yesterday saying he's not giving up.
The people will determine who the next mayor of the city of New York is through their votes once they're tallied on the night of November 4th. And I will do what I've done every day in this campaign since I announced in mid-February, which is to go down into the subways and to ride with the passengers.
Yeah, so yesterday, 60,000 people early voted. That was less than the weekend, but of course people were working. It's still a big number for early voting. All right, in a moment, we'll tell you about what stopped a 6 train in its tracks yesterday, causing all kinds of delays. We'll do that in a moment. But first, 5:46, let's head over to the 77 WABC Sports Desk. Here's Justin Ella.
Thank you, Noam Layden. Start on the diamond out here in Los Angeles. Your final in 18 innings. It's the Dodgers over the Blue Jays, 6-5. This game ending very early this morning, obviously being a West Coast game. Ended around, I want to say, 11:30 L.A. time. And Freddie Freeman with a big walk-off homer. We know what that feels like as Yankees fans here. Freddie Freeman walk-off in the World Series. So the Jays, or I should say the Dodgers, take a 2-1 series lead there in Game 3. Game 4 is set for tonight at 8 p.m., again from Los Angeles. We'll head to the NFL here. Week 8 Monday Night Football wrapping out the action. Final from Kansas City. The Chiefs over the Commanders handedly, 28-7. The Chiefs are now 5-3, and Washington leaves Kansas City 3-5. To the hardwood in Houston, the Nets dropped to 0-4 with a 137-109 loss to the Rockets. They may never win a game. Up next for them, we'll welcome in the Atlanta Hawks tomorrow night. Tonight on the court, it's the Knicks returning to action out in Milwaukee against the Bucks. It's an 8 p.m. tip-off there, and you get a triple header on the ice to look forward to tonight as well. 7:15 p.m. puck drop in Boston for the Islanders against the Bruins. 9 p.m. tonight, it's the Devils out in Colorado against the Avalanche, and the Rangers will be in Vancouver against the Canucks. That is a 10 p.m. puck drop. That's your Sports Noam, and I'm Justin Ellick on 77 WABC.
WABC News Time 5:49 as this federal government shutdown continues. There's real concern that the SNAP benefits that help for poorer families pay for groceries runs out. It runs out this weekend. So Governor Hochul wants to ensure that food pantries stay stocked while the federal shutdown continues.
With nearly 3 million New Yorkers at risk of losing SNAP benefits, also known as food stamps, on November 1st, the governor's putting $30 million towards emergency food assistance.
It'll help keep food pantries stocked and little kids' tummies fed. And that's in addition to the $11 million I announced on Friday.
Hochul says the money will help support 16 million meals, adding she's trying to figure out a way to help feed families through schools. I'm Lisa Ritchie, 77 WABC News.
A little chaotic scene down on the subways yesterday. A southbound 6 subway struck some sort of piece of metal. It caused an electrical fire. It happened the 68th Street and Lexington Avenue stop on the Upper East Side, not too far away from us. A rescue train brought in to move passengers to the 59th Street and Lexington Avenue stop. It caused all kinds of delays. Passengers were stuck on this one train for nearly an hour before they were removed. Here were some of those passengers, as you might guess, pretty angry about this whole thing.
Yes, I'm delayed. I'm already standing here like 10 minutes. And they asked me to go uptown and then take 4th train to go downtown. So I will be late for my meeting.
Always causing delay, so I cannot expect like a delay like this. I gotta change train. Maybe I'm going to take bus. Maybe I just take downtown train back to 42nd.
Yeah, MTA did not say where that large metal object came from, or even what it was, or how it ended up on the tracks. NYPD cops say they've caught the man who's accused of slashing 3 other men on the subway over the weekend.
Police say their suspect's name is Odyssey Head. NYPD says they busted the 27-year-old Head while trying to solve a completely different case, a break-in in Flatbush Saturday, in which a man damaged a washer and dryer and set fire to some clothing. Police think he's the same guy who slashed 3 men on the left sides of their faces in separate subway attacks this weekend, all in Flatbush. The first was Saturday morning on a Q train, the second was Saturday night, and the third was Sunday morning. All the victims are stable. Head is headed for a psych evaluation. Andrew Whitman, NBC News Radio, New York.
New York City testing out an emergency alert system that directly connects public schools with 911 in case of an emergency. Mayor Adams says the emergency system debuted at the Spring Creek School in Brooklyn, becoming the first ever school building in the U.S. with a direct connection to 911.
In an ideal world, it's hard to believe that we will have to even talk about having an emergency notification system because of an active shooter. But we cannot live in a level of idealism. We have to make public safety in realism.
Adams says the emergency alert system can be activated by multiple fixed buttons and wireless lanyards to initiate a 911 response in under, he says, 10 seconds.
A pilot program that directly integrates public schools with New York City 911 services. This is not taking place anywhere in the country. This is the first location where we're doing it.
The program is going to be rolled out in 51 schools across 5 boroughs this academic year. Adams says the emergency alert system is the only one in the Spring Creek School in Brooklyn right now. But of course, now they say they're going to bring it out to 51 other schools across the city. 5:53, New York City launching its annual Dusk and Darkness campaign ahead of daylight saving time, which is this weekend. We fall back, which is always better than springing forward. Darkness will start to come earlier. That's the part that stinks about it all, after the clocks fall back on Sunday. And the city's Department of Transportation wants to raise awareness about pedestrian safety. It's always bad when they're springing forward or falling back.
When it's sunset, change your mindset. Be extra vigilant. When it comes to safety on the roads, years of data tell us that this time when pedestrians, cyclists, and drivers are most at risk.
That's the TLC Commissioner David Dew. The NYPD says they'll have more police enforcement on the roads starting this week in an effort to crack down on distracted driving. The city will also be holding community engagement events across the city, reminding drivers to be cautious once the sun sets. Out on Long Island at the Sweetbriar Nature Center, they're asking for help after one of its own owls flew off. I mean, they've been searching through the woods trying to find this owl. It's the imprinted barn owl named Nebula. Took off during an educational program on Sunday. Nebula is not native to the area and has only been ever handled by humans, so they're worried about what it's going to do out in the wild. Now, it doesn't hoot. Apparently, it makes a squawking sound. So if you see her, they say don't try to catch her. but they say if there's some strange bird that looks like an owl in your neighborhood that you've never seen before, that you should give them a call at the Sweetbriar Nature Center on Long Island. Up to the Bronx, where it seems like every day I could do this story, but another guy has been caught with his hand down a mailbox. What a rough way to make a living, ripping through other people's mail, looking for checks and credit cards. But I guess there's some form of a living there to be made. The Postal Inspector, NYPD, partnering to track down this suspected thief who was caught in this neighborhood in the Bronx, stealing mail, ripping through envelopes, looking for cash, anything.
It's unbelievable. No repentance, no shame. Like, my private property is my home. I mean, it isn't violations. Like, my private property is my home. I'm keeping an eye on my credit report in case anything weird pops up. Keeping an eye on my bank account to make sure there are no, charges I don't recognize. And I'm making sure to get my mail every single day so that nothing is, there for long.
Yeah, one of the things they do is if they find a check, they'll bleach the check out, then write their name in and go to like a check cashing place and make some instant dough. So I guess there's money in it, but it seems like a lot of work to get there. The Doors celebrating their 60th anniversary with a re-release of a documentary film called When You're Strange.
When you're strange, faces come out of the rain. When you're strange, no one remembers.
It's been remastered in 4K for the first time and will feature an introduction from John Densmore and Robbie Krieger, as well as the exclusive debut of the newly recorded performance of Riders on the Storm. The film will be released worldwide in theaters on December 4th and 6th. Tickets go on sale this Thursday. I'm Mark Mayfield.
Halloween, of course, Friday. New Jersey apparently is the least likely state to survive a zombie apocalypse.
If the undead rise from their graves and you live in New Jersey, you might want to run for the hills. According to the gambling site Canada Casino, who did a survey on this, New Jersey tops the list of the least zombie-proof states, and New York City isn't far behind. It came in 5th place. The survey took into account population density, number of community hospitals, the number of airports, the number of fishing, hunting, and trapping stores, and the number of military bases. Meantime, they say Alaska would be the best place people would want to hide out if the world turned into The Walking Dead. Lisa G., 77 WABC News.
Thanks for listening to the News Hour with Noam Laden. You can hear the News Hour with Noam Laden weekday mornings at 5 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode, so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?